Hi, world. My name is Amari Taylor. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to be bringing you another installment of Release Your Yap, which, if you don't know, Release Your Yap is the series that I started to just give myself a space to release my yap. As a certified yapper, I often tend to sometimes hold back my yaps until I have somebody to share them with. Now, don't get me wrong, I'll talk to myself all day freaking long, but there is something about feeling like I'm talking to someone else that like just gets it off in a different way. So, today is another installment of Release Your Yap. And the topic that I want to talk about, I haven't even come up with a name for this topic just yet because it's almost like an idea that came to my mind. So I'm just going to talk about the idea in general, right? To preface, I do feel like this ties in or may be helpful for the people that experience anxious attachment styles. At one point, I felt like I was more of an anxious attached person. Granted, now I think I resonate a bit more with the avoidant attached style, leaning more secure because I have done a lot of healing work and I don't want to fall into any of those categories for real. I just want to be someone who has great relationships and loves the people around her, and the people around her love me. I mean, the people around me love me. You know what? You get what I mean. So, here's the backstory, right, of how we got on this idea. So, yesterday, I was having my first meal of the day around like 12:30 or so. I had already been up for a few hours, but I was just doing other things. And I had some donuts from the day before that were just kind of sitting on the counter, and I wanted to have one, but then I was like, it's our first meal of the day. Let's not eat a donut necessarily. And I probably was only going to take like a bite, but regardless, I've been more mindful of what is the first thing that my body is digesting for the day. And it's not don't eat the donut, but don't let the donut be the very first thing because if I'm not mistaken, that can spike my blood sugar from what I've read from my studies, right? So I said, let's go in the fridge. Let's see what else is available first, and then maybe we can have that as a little treat later. So I go in the fridge. I said, all the things that were in there just kind of weren't calling to me. And I came across my little section for fruit. Okay. Last week, we had a full bowl of mango slices. I love me some mango, okay? Love mango. It's one of my favorite fruits. So, some of the slices were not as ripe as the other ones. So, I've been eating away at it periodically and just taking like a couple slices here and there every time I want some, and then leaving the ones that aren't as ripe to ripen more. And then by the time I come back to them, they're going to be even more ripe, right? Okay, keep this in mind. So, yesterday, I see the bowl of mangoes. I pull it out. There's only five left in there. Only five. This was a pretty big bowl. It probably had 20 plus slices when I first started, but I'm down to five as of yesterday. And I go and I take a first bite of one of them, and it is literally, y'all, when I say literally the best bite of mango I'd ever had in my freaking life. Like, it was so juicy. The flavor just jumped out at me. And it was just amazing. It tasted so good. So I sat there and I really like savored that bite. Like I closed my eyes. I got fully into it and I just chewed up that piece of mango. And then I still had a whole another rest of the piece. So then I very slowly just took those last bites, and it's like I don't think I've ever chewed anything for as long as I chewed that mango, right? I finished the first spear. I'm now down to four. I said, okay. I said, this could just be my little brekkie snack. So let's just keep going with this. I take another one. Same deal. It's the best mango I've ever had in my life. So I'm eating that. I get down to the third one. And I said, man, this experience is amazing. Like, I wish other people could just taste how amazing this mango tastes right now. And I was like, I could just eat all of it right now. I could just eat all 5 slices because it's so good. Or, or I can eat this final one and then save two for myself for later because of how good it is. It's almost like, why would I want to eat all of it right now? I mean, instant gratification, right? Instant gratification tells me I want to eat it all right now. But I was thinking of future me who maybe after I complete some more tasks for the day, or maybe after I've gone on a walk or something, I'm going to be in a place where I'm probably going to be thinking about that mango and being like, damn, had I saved some, like that would have been so good. So I thought of future me in that moment. I said, she's going to love this in a few hours. So how about I leave these two pieces for her and I'll just really sit here and savor the last few bites I've have of this slice that I have right now. And a thought came to mind, the words specifically, when you love something so much that you're willing to save it for later. Now, I grew up very like just how do I explain this? Basically, if I wanted to eat all of something, I did. Okay, and I was going to. And there was not, yes, other people, they tried to like intervene or tell me, "Oh, save some for later, save this, save this." But it never really occurred to me why I would do that if I want it right now. You feel me? Like, I'm eating this, let's say this burger. I'm eating this burger right now. Why the hell would I want to save some for later? Like, I want it now. It tastes good right now. And there's something to be said about like even just and y'all, please roll with me because, like I said, this was just a thought that came to me while I was eating some freaking mango. And I wanted to get on here and just chat about it because I felt like it was such a profound thought that came to me. The idea of loving something so much that you'll save some for later. And okay, boom. I wanted to tie it back into relationships, right? So, I personally, and this is not to say this is how things should be or anything, I'm just speaking from my own personal experience. For me, spending too much time with someone or being around someone too much, or just when you do too much in relationships, it tends to like get old quick, you know? And that's not to say that like you don't do nice things for each other or you don't show up consistently or on a regular basis. Like, that's still in the, you should still be doing that. But when we get into when things hit that line of too muchness, right? Whether that be you over giving, or I know for me personally, and I'm about to get a little vulnerable, in my past relationships, when maybe we have good smexual chemistry, and then that's what the whole relationship becomes about, is just us feeling pleasure through our interaction, and it's almost like we can't do anything else before we handle that, right? And I'm not the type of person that actually like relies on smegs as a form of connection. Like, I have, but in my everyday relationships, it's like I love chatting. I love talking to people. I love just getting to know someone and getting into their life. I love when they want to get into my life too. It's like there's other ways to connect, you know? So I've found that like smegs, while it may be really nice in the moment, it may feel really good in the moment. When I then reflect and I think over it later, it's kind of just like sometimes I'm left feeling like, I didn't even need that for real. Like, I didn't need that. It wasn't really the next natural step of what needed to happen in the relationship. But we did it. And hey, it was nice for the moment, but here I am now kind of like, maybe wish we had like gone on a walk or something, or maybe we had like gone and done an activity or something. Again, getting into this, playing with the idea of like, just because something's good Do you just allow yourself to indulge unrestrictedly, you know? And I'm also someone, I naturally am a pleasure seeker. I am. I have no I won't say I have no shame about it, cuz a little, but for the most part I'm wanting to absolve shame around that, because yeah, being a pleasure seeker is not a bad thing. I'm honestly not someone that can tolerate high amounts of like disdain for something without then needing to pivot or needing to shift. Like, I can tolerate discomfort and things for so long, but eventually it's like, if this isn't feeling good to me, why the hell am I doing it? So I think it plays its role, right? Because I don't, in my relationships, like, I don't really like keeping people around that just don't feel good to me, or we're not feeling good to one another. Um, Jobs, everybody knows I'm a quit a job as girl. So if a job is just really working my fucking nerves for long enough, I'm quitting. um even habits, I'm very able to recognize my own bad habits because of how they make me feel. If I keep scrolling, if I've been on TikTok for 2 hours already, and my hands might be a little tired, my eyes might be a little tired, I might just be tired of listening to people fucking talk. um it's up to me to then say, okay, this doesn't feel good anymore. Let's stop. And anything I've done in the past, it's with the goal of feeling good. Like, I'm doing it in hopes that it'll make me feel good. But then once I get to a point of realizing, like, this isn't quite producing the result that I want, then it's time to pivot, right? So, to bring this back to the idea of loving something enough to save some for later, and loving, even tying it into loving yourself enough to say something for later. I'm at a point in my life, in my self love journey, that I think of future me very often. And that means future me even in a few hours, future me tomorrow, future me next week. Like, I'm not talking, I also think about the girl that's 10 years from now, but future me in a few hours matters to me now, So if maybe I'm craving going on a walk, but I'm feeling a little lazy, I think of future me in 3 hours. How am I going to feel if I continue to sit here for another 3 hours versus if I just go out and go on a walk, regardless of how long the walk is? How is future me going to feel after that walk? Bow. So I lost my train of thought, but I just ate. I just ate. I'll accept that. I'll receive that. I ate that. That analogy, it like made perfect sense. So, um, I know, and it's like I try to just keep talking because I've been challenging myself to just post these videos with no edits. Because in the past I used to get caught up in editing this and editing, and it's just, I love watching content where the person just talks and talks without edits. Like, I think it's pretty cool. There's a certain level of confidence and just like self assuredness in just saying what you're saying, even if there's pauses and delays and whatever's, like, still posting it and knowing that you're worthy of being heard, even if it's not as concise as it could be, you're still worthy of being received. So I'm offering that to myself by not doing a whole bunch of cuts and edits. I think eventually I'll edit a little bit, but for now we're rolling with this vibe. So let's bring it home. I did come back to that mango 2 hours later. I went and worked on a couple things, and then I came back and ate those last two mango slices. And again, they were the best mango slices I'd ever had. Like, ever had. And it's like, it's almost like, I don't know if this is a thing, but like periodic pleasure, instead of fully indulging in everything right then and there. How can you, I guess, like, pre-plan your pleasure, you know? Pre-planning your pleasure. So, what does that look like for me? Yesterday, that looked like enjoying this right now and deciding to save some for later. In relationships, I think this can be in relationships, I think this can work with I mean, take it for example, the example I just shared about like almost being Megs heavy in a relationship, like maybe there's like a knowing of what you could, like once you've done it you already know how it's gonna feel, so it's almost like dang I need that, but knowing that you don't need anything, like it's the story you're telling yourself, right? There we go, there's the point. It's the story you're telling yourself about what you need and about what I guess what it means if you don't indulge right now. And boom, there it is. This is how I wanted to tie it into my anxious attached girlies, because in the past when I was more anxiously attached in my relationships, I would call them every few hours or so, which is, I don't think a lot of people knew I was like that, because I'm highly independent. I'm very independent for the most part. But when I'd get in these relationships, and if there was some type of internal threat to myself, like if I would think, oh, this person's highly desired, this person has a lot of admirers, and they may potentially take this person's attention away from me, then I'll do the extras to try to make sure that that person's attention stays on me. And that is just one, it lacks genuineness, because I wasn't always calling because I had something to talk about or because I wanted to like actually engage with them. It was just a can I keep their attention call. Woo! Woo! Offering to hang out all the freaking time. Like almost every other day wanting to hang out, or you want to smoke, or you want to get together or whatever. And there's like no purpose for the link. Like there's no reason why we're together, and now here we are sitting here in silence because why? Because you felt like you weren't gonna like, I think it comes down to like that feeling of like good things don't last, or like good things are finite, or like good things are hard to come by. Again, tying this into anxious attachment, because anxious attachments tend to be developed through having the rug pulled out from under you. When you have really loved someone and then maybe they ghosted you, which is what happened to me, which is why I ended up operating the way I did in these relationships. I was dating someone, we dated for 3 months, and we got into it very quick. Like, we fell in love very, very quick. So, 3 months, like, he's got my heart, he's got my soul, he's got everything. And then he ghosted me out of nowhere. Granted, all that has been resolved. That was 8 years ago. So it's been whatever since then. But that was like so traumatizing. It was so traumatizing. And to me, it like reinforced this mindset of like, something can be so good and then gone in an instant. And you never know when you're going to feel that good again. So you must get it all in, suck it all up right now, because who knows when you'll get the chance to feel like this again. And I just want my like the people I'm speaking to here, I want myself to know that like good things are available to you. Good things are always available to you. Good things are seeking you. You know, especially for you to have such a like passion for them and such a love for them and almost a desire to nurture and grow them and to fuel it and make it more, like good things like that energy, they want that. But it leaves that energy when we get into fear, when we start being fearful of sorry, there is something something tickling my situation. Okay. When when we are resting in the fear of what could happen or even of what couldn't happen, like when we're just fearful, period, in our relationships, in our dynamics, and this means our relationships with everything, including our relationship to food and substances and things that bring us pleasure. when we're in a fear-based mindset, there is no like there is no saving anything for later. There is no saving it for later because it feels like now or never. And I'm here to let you know through experience, I have found nothing. There is not many things in this life that are now or never. There is nothing that is now or never. Sometimes it's a not right now. And not right now does not mean no. Not right now means do what's necessary right now. Focus on what's necessary right now. Like that's all it means. We let our fears and our insecurities project onto our current realities, and it's honestly not fair to ourselves. It's not fair to the people we do it to. It's not even fair to the mango. It's not fair to the mango either. The mango also wants to be cherished and desired and nurtured in a way that allows it to be its best self, right? Had imagine I had cracked open that box of mango the first time and just ate all of it when it wasn't even ready, really ripe, when it wasn't even really ready. Like the longer I let that mango sit in the fridge and I don't want to say like I want to say marinate. The longer I let it marinate, that's why it was so freaking good when I had it yesterday. Because that first day that I opened it, there was only like 3 or 4 pieces that were truly ripe and ready for me. So had I eaten all the mango right then and there, then now the mango's just gone. Now it's just gone. Like it's just done and I now have no more mango. So, but the lesson, right? The longer I let it sit, the better it was. And the more space I gave it to grow and to do what mango does, the better it was for me when I came back to it. Both times, every single time, because I dip in periodically. So every single time from the moment that I had it at noon when I was eating my first meal to when I came back to it a couple hours later, it was better every time because of the space that I allowed for it to grow on its own. So essentially, I'm so glad we made it. I'm so glad we made it because, again, this was not a fully thought out thought when I first turned on the camera. So I'm so happy that I was able to like make all the connections, make all the points that I intended to. And I hope you feel me. I hope you get me because there's so much to be learned from allowing space for things to grow, for allowing the space. Just because you meet someone and you like their vibe and maybe they're perfect for you, maybe they're perfect, but you don't have to take all of them right now. Imagine how you'll feel when you get to learn this person over time, when you give it space, when maybe you haven't talked to each other in 2 weeks and now so much life has happened in the meantime, and then you come back and 2 weeks is a long time. I know 2 weeks is a long time, especially if we're talking about dating somebody, but this can apply to friendships, family, everything. It applies to our relationship with everything, our relationship with the world, our relationship with God. When you sit up, that's why they tell you don't count, like you don't pray and then look around and check where's your prayers, where's your answered prayers. You pray and then you give it space, babe. You pray and then you let God do God's thing while you go and do your thing. And then the co-creation happens when all the right things have come into place, when all the right moments, when all the right people, when all the right environments have come into place. But that takes time. That takes time. And I know for my anxious girlies or my people who have even been depressed in their life, it doesn't always feel like you have time, but you do. I'm here to tell you, as someone who literally used to rush everything, used to not be extremely intentional with the things I did because I was fearful that I was always running out of time. And the more that I have allowed myself to take my time and to take the space that I need in order to produce mindful, intentional work, relationships, conversations, like when I give myself that space, I realize just how much time I've always had. Like, I'm only 26, yet it feels like I've been here for so freaking long. There are people that are 80, babe. There are people who are 80 freaking years old. Imagine how long it took them to become 80, and how many days, how many days and how many different things and shifts and things that happened in the meantime. Like, don't count yourself out because you're fearful. Don't count out your relationships. Don't drain yourself and your relationships because of fear. Allow them the time and the space to grow and to blossom into exactly what they're meant to be. And you'll never know what they're meant to be if you don't allow it the time. So I'm gonna cap the convo there. I appreciate you so much for tuning in today. And wherever you are in the world, I am sending you so much love. This has become a little tradition at the end of the pod where I'm going to question you. When was the last time you had some water? A minute ago? Let's take a sip of water together. Life is so much better when we drink water, y'all. That just really fueled me. I'm gonna go on a walk. I'm gonna walk to the grocery store. Probably make a meal, or I'll get a ready-made meal. I don't know. I don't know. We're gonna see. Hopefully, the walk inspires me. But thank you for tuning in. Love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.